Welcome back. For those of you who saw yesterday's video, you will know where I am today. For those of you who haven't seen the video, then a quick recap. A recent event where a subscriber to my channel sent me a message asking me whether I knew about the changes to Surin Beach from the 1st of May, which I responded that I didn't. He then proceeded to send me some pictures of the signs that are just here, and he'd run the Google translation app over the signs, and he basically understood that from the 1st of May the sunbeds, which are on the beach now over there, would have to be removed along with any permanent structures. Now this has been an ongoing thing here at Surin and on many of the beaches around Phuket, and over the years I've covered this many times. Well, today is the 1st of May, so I mentioned on yesterday's video, depending of course when you're watching this, that I would be coming back and taking a look at Surin Beach on the 1st just to see whether anything had changed. I was down here yesterday briefly with Nat, my wife. She is Thai, and I got her to have a read of these signs, and basically she didn't actually understand what they were saying because they're not well written, or government signs are written in a way that they are a little bit confusing, and she seemed to think, or translating it over, that what these basic signs mean is permanent structures are not allowed, which we know of. However, the sunbeds should be removed at night time, not in the daytime. So, a little bit of background about Surin Beach. This beach is actually a protected beach here in Phuket. Some call it a white beach, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter, but there should be no commercial activity on this particular beach. Commercial activity is allowed on some of Phuket's beaches, but not all, and this particular beach, it isn't allowed. But as you can see, that really isn't observed, because all of these sunbeds are classed as commercial activity, because of course the vendors are hiring them out and making money from them. Also, any restaurants or services that they provide to the tourists should not be on the beach, because it's not allowed by law. But unfortunately, the powers of be, the local powers of be, are very slow to react. We are now going into low season. Nothing has changed during high season, and the 1st of May, you can see yourself, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Yesterday was dry all day, yesterday evening was nice, and it's looking like it's going to be the same today. And there are no changes here at Surin Beach, not as yet. I may come down later this evening, depending on what time Nat finishes, to take a look to see whether the sunbeds are still actually on the beach. But honestly, I think they will be. I don't think the vendors will take any notice of the signs, and I don't think the signs will be reinforced or enforced in any way. I'll let you make up your own minds when it comes to why things are not enforced here. I have my own thoughts on that, but I'm not going to share it on video. It may not be wise, but you can see people are here enjoying themselves, and as I mentioned yesterday, I do believe there is a need for sunbeds. Of course there is. But there needs to be certain controls, because what happens is the people that run the sunbeds just get greedy. It's just greed, and before you know it, they're just everywhere, and there is no space. If you just want to sit on the sand or don't want to hire the beds, there's no space for you. And sometimes the vendors can get rather nasty when you don't want the services of the sunbeds. Obviously they want to make money, and if you don't want to use them, they can move you out the way, and legally they have no right to do that, because this is a public beach and you're allowed to sit and go wherever you want. They are actually breaking the law, not you. But of course, as a tourist or a person that's coming on the beach, you don't want to have any problems, any troubles. You don't want to get into an argument with somebody that could end up being a bad situation. So I totally understand, but that's how the law stands, that all beaches are public. I know there's some confusion about private beaches, but there aren't any private beaches here. in Thailand. They're all public beaches, but it's all about access on the beach, as I've covered in previous videos. All I will say is it's a real shame when this happens and it gets out of control. It spoils it for everyone. Of course the vendors don't care because they just want to make money. At the end of the day, that's what they want to do. And whilst there is a demand for sunbeds, they will always be here. That is the problem. Tourists complain when there's too many, but they also complain when there's not enough. So it's a catch-22, unfortunately, and I don't think the situation will change. And I think that most of the beaches going forward will have this problem, and it will be an ongoing problem that will not really disappear. You may see a few beds disappear during low season, but they'll be back once the high season starts to get close or in full swing. So if you're wondering about Surin Beach, you've seen it yourself today, 1st of May, no change. So if you're a person that wants the sunbeds, then they're still here. If you're a person that doesn't want the sunbeds, well, unfortunately, that's just tough, because that's just the way it is here, as I say. The powers of B, the local powers of B, they don't seem to follow their own rules. There's obviously money involved somewhere along the line, I would say, and that just makes the situation worse. And it's a bit of a shame really, because Surin Beach is a beautiful beach. Let's make my way back to where I've parked the bike. As you can see, most of these sunbeds are not even occupied. I don't know why they can't just stack them up somewhere and then just bring them out when there's a need for it, because 1st of May, we're going towards low season. There's not loads of people here, there's some of course, but you can see all these beds, they're all empty. They're just taking up the beach for no real reason really. It's because they're too lazy to move them off. And you can see yourself along the beach line all these restaurants that have popped back up. They did move them off a few years ago. They cleared the whole beach of all commercial activity, but it's all come back slowly. It's just coming back more and more. In fact, I would say there's more commercial activity on this beach now than ever before. That's it for today. I will catch you on the next one.